The feeling of a ghostly presence, or the sense that someone is close by when no one is actually there, originate in the brain, according to a scientific study. Scientists have pinpointed the specific areas of the brain responsible for generating these eerie sensations. They have also devised an experiment that can make some people feel as though a ghost is nearby. This research, published in the journal Current Biology, sheds light on an often reported paranormal phenomenon, the experience of an unseen presence, often described as a ghost or apparition. While many stories of the paranormal exist, a common theme is this invisible presence that people believe is near them even though they can't see it. Dr. Giulio Rognini, a researcher from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, EPFL, explained that the sensation is very vivid for those who experience it. People feel that somebody is near them, but they cannot see anyone. It's always a felt presence, he said. This sensation is particularly common among people in extreme conditions, such as mountaineers and explorers, and in individuals with certain neurological conditions. One surprising aspect of the ghostly presence is how the perceived ghost often mirrors the person's movements. Dr. Rognini explained that people frequently report that whatever movement they are making or whatever posture they are in is replicated by the presence. For instance, if a person is sitting, they feel as if the ghost is sitting too. If they are standing, the ghost seems to stand with them. This mirroring of posture and movement adds to the strangeness of the experience. To investigate the phenomenon further, the researchers conducted brain scans on 12 individuals with neurological disorders. These individuals had all reported experiencing a ghostly presence at some point in their lives. The scans revealed that all of these patients had some form of damage in brain regions associated with self-awareness, movement, and the body's sense of position in space, which is crucial for a person's sense of where their body is located. After analyzing the data from the patients with neurological conditions, the scientists wanted to see if they could recreate the experience of a ghostly presence in people who had never encountered it before. To do this, they created a novel experiment involving 48 healthy volunteers. These participants had no history of experiencing paranormal phenomena, making them ideal subjects for testing how the brain might react to altered stimuli. In the experiment, participants were blindfolded and asked to manipulate a robot using their hands. As they moved the robot in front of them, another robot mirrored these exact hand movements on the participants' backs. Under normal circumstances, when the movements at the front and back of the body occurred simultaneously, the participants reported nothing unusual. They felt nothing out of the ordinary. However, when the timing of the robot's movements was altered, creating a slight delay between the participants' hand movements and the robot touching their back, about 1/3 of the participants began to feel something strange. They reported sensing a presence in the room, almost as if there was someone else standing with them. Some even described feeling multiple presences, as though up to 4 ghosts were nearby. The sensations were so unsettling for 2 of the participants that they asked for the experiment to be stopped. They found the experience too bizarre and disturbing to continue. The scientists believe these sensations arise because the altered timing of the robotic movements confuses the brain. Normally, the brain integrates sensory information from different parts of the body to create a unified sense of self. It helps us understand where our body is located in space and how we are moving. When these signals get mixed up, as they did in the experiment, the brain begins to make errors in interpreting its own body's position and movements. This leads to the perception that another person or presence is nearby. Dr. Rognini explained that our brains maintain multiple representations of the body in space. In everyday life, these representations work together to give us a clear, unified sense of self. However, when something goes wrong, either due to disease or, in this case, the experimental use of robots, these representations can become fragmented. As a result, the brain creates a second representation of the body, which is no longer perceived as part of the individual's own self. Instead, it feels like a separate entity, which people interpret as a ghost or presence. The team behind this study believes their findings could help improve the understanding of certain neurological conditions. For instance, people with schizophrenia sometimes experience delusions or hallucinations, including the sensation that someone is near them when no one is there. By studying how the brain creates these ghostly presences, scientists might learn more about how the brain misfires in conditions like schizophrenia, and ultimately find better ways to treat it. The experience of a ghostly presence is not limited to neurological conditions like schizophrenia. Dr. Rognini mentioned that this phenomenon is also common among people in extreme environments. For example, mountaineers, explorers, and even sailors who spend extended periods in harsh or isolated conditions often report feeling a ghostly presence near them. There are several theories about why this happens. One possibility is that extreme environments place a lot of stress on the body and mind. High altitudes, extreme cold, and prolonged isolation can all have effects on brain function. Under these stressful conditions, the brain may struggle to integrate the different sensory inputs it receives, leading to a temporary breakdown in self-perception. As a result, people might feel as though someone else is nearby, even though they are alone. This type of experience is well documented in accounts from mountaineers and adventurers. For example, many climbers on Mount Everest have reported sensing a presence during their ascent. Neurological disorders can also affect the brain's ability to process sensory information. Conditions such as epilepsy, migraines, and brain injuries can all cause disruptions in the way the brain integrates sensory input. This can lead to hallucinations, including the perception of a ghostly presence. Some patients with Parkinson's disease also report feeling as though someone is standing next to them, even though no one is there. In these cases, the brain is essentially making a mistake. It misinterprets sensory information and creates a false sense of another person's presence. The study conducted by Dr. Rognini and his team challenges the traditional view that ghostly presences are purely supernatural. Instead, it suggests that these sensations can be explained by the workings of the brain. When the brain's self-perception mechanisms are disrupted, either due to disease, extreme environments, or experimental manipulation, it can create the illusion of another person being present. This research aligns with other studies that have examined the brain's role in producing paranormal experiences. For example, researchers have found that electromagnetic fields and certain frequencies of sound waves can also affect the brain, leading to sensations of a ghostly presence or even visual hallucinations. These findings suggest that many experiences people attribute to the supernatural might actually be caused by natural processes in the brain. However, while the study helps to explain how the brain creates these sensations, it doesn't mean that everyone who experiences a ghostly presence has a neurological disorder or is in an extreme environment. Some people might simply be more sensitive to subtle changes in sensory input, making them more likely to experience these eerie sensations. Others might interpret unusual feelings or perceptions as paranormal due to cultural beliefs or personal experiences. The findings from this study have broader implications for understanding human perception. Our brains are constantly working to integrate information from the senses to create a coherent picture of the world around us. This process usually works smoothly, but when something goes wrong, such as in the case of a neurological disorder or extreme environment, the brain can misinterpret sensory information, leading to strange or even frightening experiences. This knowledge could be useful in a variety of fields, from neuroscience to psychology to virtual reality design. For example, understanding how the brain integrates sensory input could help researchers develop more immersive virtual environments or improve treatments for people with disorders that affect perception. Hey there, YouTube fans! Do you want access to amazing content? Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Stay updated with all our latest videos. Join our community of awesome subscribers. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.